So where is the best place for a second home in Sonoma County? In this video, I'll talk about the factors you should think about when choosing the location of your second home and talk through some of the pros and cons of different areas that are among the most popular destinations. You might be surprised about some of the areas I actually mentioned. If you live in the Bay Area and are looking for a second home, you may well know exactly where you want to be. If you're anything like me when I was looking to purchase a second home before I lived here, I knew I liked Healdsburg, but I was open to different areas. I just didn't know where to start. I spent the best part of 6 months looking at homes everywhere from Bennett Valley to the outskirts of Sonoma, and then ended up buying in rural Healdsburg. In hindsight, if my realtor had asked me what was important to me, I could have narrowed down my options a lot more quickly. So here are 7 questions you should be asking yourself if you're looking to purchase a second home. So the first question is, what's the lifestyle that you're looking for? Are you looking for a home that's the total opposite of urban living? So you like the idea of being on a bit of land with a view? Or do you still want to be able to walk to a restaurant in the evening? Alternatively, you might be looking to get access to amenities such as a golf club or hiking trails. If that's the case, you might be looking at some of the golf course communities in and around Sonoma County. The second thing is proximity to your home. For people who live in the South Bay in San Jose, it's a 2-hour drive to get somewhere like Healdsburg, whereas if you live in Mill Valley, it's just an hour away. You also need to remember that as soon as you leave the main sort of arterial roads to get to a more rural property, it can easily add an extra 10, 15 or 20 minutes to your journey, which all starts to add up depending on how far you've had to travel. Is the weather important to you? If you come from San Francisco, you might be looking for somewhere you can rely on sunshine, whereas if you come from the East Bay, for example, you might be looking for a cooler climate. The coastal areas like Bodega Bay tend to be cooler and foggier with average highs in the 60s year-round, thanks to the influence of offshore breezes and storms. Inland towns get significantly warmer summers with Santa Rosa, Sonoma, and Healdsburg all seeing average highs in the 80s from June to September and even into triple digits. You also have to be careful about some of the hyper-local microclimates in places like Sebastopol, where you can have 2 homes with a Sebastopol zip code but vary considerably in temperature based on whether or not they're in the banana belt. The fourth question is, how do you feel about fire risk? I mean, it might not be the most exciting thing to talk about, but it's important to cover it off. If we look at the main fire events since 2017, they're mostly on the east side of the 101, with the cooler, more westerly areas such as Sebastopol, the Russian River, and the coastal area hardly affected. Equally, if you buy a rural property with elevation, it will always be more susceptible to fire compared to a home, say, within city limits in somewhere like Sonoma or Healdsburg, just because of the resources that are available to protect the town in a relatively small area. The next question is, are you ever likely to want to vacation rent the property? For some people, the very idea of renting out their second home has no appeal, but there are definitely a lot of people who want to have the flexibility to vacation rent the property so they can help offset some of the annual costs of owning a second home. If this is the case, your geographic options will be very much more reduced. If you are interested in the best locations to buy a vacation rental in Sonoma County, I've got a video all about it, so I'll put a link in the description below. Alternatively, just call me and I can walk you through the various different options. The next question is, how important is capital appreciation? Of course, everyone wants their assets to appreciate. If you want to try to maximize your investment, you might want to trade some of the personal preferences for areas that are either popular second home areas or purchase a property that's in an area that's on the rise, even though it might not offer everything that you're looking for from day one. The next question is, what's your budget? Depending on your budget and how much house you need, this will either limit your options to some very specific areas of the county or mean that you can prioritize your location knowing you can get what you want for the money. For example, in some locations, the median price is $600,000, whereas in other locations, it's nearer 1.5 million. So that will automatically steer you in a particular direction. Now let's talk about where are some of the most popular places for a second home. When we look at home purchases across the first part of last year, we can see from tax records that in some areas, over half the homes are purchased as non-primary residences. That doesn't mean they're all second homes, because some could well be pure play investment properties, but it does give us a clear indication of the strength of the second home market. As you can see from the graphic, Guerneville and Forestville in the Russian River are two of the most popular areas, with 68% and 54% of homes being non-primary respectively. Sandwiched in between is Healdsburg at 64%, a number that's been steadily growing from 37%, which is what it was back in 2019. So let's look at the pros and cons of different areas. Firstly, let's talk about Healdsburg. Healdsburg has long been the darling of Sonoma County, having been voted second best town in America by Smithsonian Magazine, and then more recently, the #1 foodie city in the US. It's therefore no surprise that it's a popular destination for both people looking to purchase a second home, as well as those to use that as a stepping stone to make Healdsburg their primary home. The most popular option is for people to want to purchase a place within the downtown area, a 15-minute walk to the plaza. However, although the city covers just over 4 square miles, the wider Healdsburg area is 188 square miles, so there are a lot of options for people looking to purchase somewhere that is more rural in Dry Creek Valley or Alexander Valley. If you are looking for a property that does have the option of being able to vacate and rent it, then that rules out the city and also large parts of Healdsburg, although there are a few options if you know where to look. Over recent years, Healdsburg has attracted a lot of luxury real estate investment with new developments such as Mill District, Montage, and also the new North Village, not to mention the $5 to $15 million custom homes that are being built around town. With so much luxury property development happening, combined with a growth management ordinance which actually limits the number of new homes built every year in the city, in my view, Healdsburg is a pretty safe long-term investment. So now let's talk about Sonoma. Alongside Healdsburg, Sonoma is the other iconic town of Sonoma County, which, like Healdsburg, has got Plaza at its center. While it's a similar size to Healdsburg with just over 10,000 residents, the city itself is smaller at 2.7 square miles. As with Healdsburg, a lot of people are looking for a walking lifestyle, wanting to live within a walking distance to the plaza, particularly on the east side of town where the more expensive homes are. However, if you are looking for something more rural, there are some amazing rural properties in the northeast of Sonoma, just outside the city limits, and then on the west side of town, west of Bundle Drive, around the Carriger Road area. And Sonoma is a popular place for people looking for a higher-end vacation rental because they do perform incredibly well. Although with the rules being continually tightened, they're harder to find than they used to be. We actually have a website where we put all properties for sale across the entire county that are eligible for a vacation rental permit. So give me a call if you want to get access to that site. I know when I was looking for a second home, Glen Ellen was where I first started looking because it was such an easy drive from Mill Valley. It was definitely appealing to have a place I could go to for just one night without it being a big upheaval. I was also a fan of the Glen Ellen Star restaurant and their bacon and Brussels sprouts dish, but that's an entirely different story. It is a really cute town with some good food options and tasting rooms and really easy access to the trails of Jack London State Park, which was really appealing. Since then, Glen Ellen and nearby Kenwood were obviously hit hard by the 2017 fires, with numerous homes lost, including one I actually nearly put an offer on. As a result, there are a lot of newly built homes around the whole area, as well as lots that are ready to be built. I mean, the great thing about places like Glen Ellen and Kenwood is that because they're so small, you can buy a place on half an acre or an acre and yet be a minute or two away from a restaurant or a bar. And with that being said, the number of homes combined with the demand means that median prices are getting pretty high in this area, with the average being, 1.5, with a lot of homes selling for over $2 million. So now let's talk about the Russian River. So the Russian River, which stretches from Healdsburg to Jenner on the Pacific coast, the Russian River area presents a huge range of options of lower cost homes, more so than anywhere else in the county. Rustic Guerneville and Monteria have always been a hugely popular place for second homes for people escaping to the river from San Francisco. Because of that, it also has some of the highest concentration of vacation rentals in the county. However, it is more affordable. For $1 million, you can buy a place on the river to enjoy lazy Sunday afternoons. And there's also a large gay community, particularly focused in Guerneville, with like numerous events and festivals making it a truly like vibrant community during the summer. The other great thing about this area is that it's just a 20-minute drive. You can be out in Jena and then go up the coast and take advantage of the numerous trails and parks and places to eat out on the coast. So now let's talk about the Sonoma coastal area. The coastal area is incredibly large, and people are drawn by the wide open beaches and dramatic seascapes. With second home buyers, we'll find options ranging from Sea Ranch's architecturally famous vacation retreats to the cliffs and coves of Sonoma State Park to Bodega Bay's cinematic harbour front. Home prices here have skyrocketed over recent years, driven in part by the ease of being able to get vacation rental permits, but also because after a few years of fires elsewhere in the county, second homeowners saw the coast as a safe place to purchase a home. And this has seen home prices surge to the point where it's hard to find anything for less than $1.5 million these days. And the coastal region is in fact its own area separate from Sonoma County with slightly different governance, which is why, as things currently stand, any property is eligible to be operated as a vacation rental with no permit and no license within the coastal zone. I'm sure next year that will change with the introduction of a business license, but regardless of that, the coastal area will still be one of the easiest places to get a vacation rental property in the entirety of Sonoma County. So now let's talk about Santa Rosa. I mean, the city of Santa Rosa is not really a second home destination, although it is a good investment property destination. However, there are numerous places in the greater Santa Rosa area that attract second home owners. For example, in the northeast of Santa Rosa is Mark West Springs Road and the area around Reedley Road, which has a lot of high-end rural homes, many of which have been rebuilt after the fires of 2017, so that there are a lot of new construction options if that's something that's interesting to you. If you are looking to buy a second home with access to a golf club and a country club, then you might consider Fountain Grove. And nestled in the northeast of Santa Rosa, Fountain Grove is an upscale community offering a scenic countryside setting, yet convenient urban access. At its heart lies the private Fountain Grove Club, a 650-acre world-class facility including an 18-hole championship golf course, tennis courts, pools, fitness centre, spa, restaurants, and more besides. Also in northeast Santa Rosa, actually close to Windsor and Healdsburg, is Maya Carlisle Country Club, as well as Shiloh Estates, which is a gated community of high-end homes within access to the much sought-after Maya Carlisle Country Club. I'll put a link in the description below to a video focusing on this community and giving more information about it. Tucked in the eastern outskirts of Santa Rosa is the Bennett Valley area and Sonoma Mountain Road, which offer stunning vineyard and mountain scenery, yet have got convenient access to urban amenities. For second home buyers, the natural beauty and wine country lifestyle and impressive estates are major draws for this area. So now let's talk about Sebastopol. The city of Sebastopol, as well as the larger rural area around Sebastopol, is becoming an incredibly popular place for second homes for many reasons. The city has seen a huge amount of investment over the past decade with the development of the Barlow Center, while the more rural areas, particularly in the west and moving north, they're absolutely stunning. They feel every bit as wine country as the most beautiful parts of the county. In addition to that, this area is one of the easiest areas to find a vacation rental eligible property, and unlike some other areas in the east of the county, it's not been impacted by fires in recent years. I would say that its affordability compared to some of the more expensive places like Healdsburg and Sonoma, was a factor that at just over $1 million, prices are now on a par with places like Healdsburg and Sonoma, although you don't get the super high-end properties that you do in those places. If you are looking for a second home with access to some great food, great wine, in a wine country setting at an affordable price, the Sebastopol area is a great choice. So if you are looking at buying a second home in Sonoma County and don't know exactly where you want to purchase one, the first thing I would do is think through what you want to get out of it and what's the most important thing to you. Once you have that, it's relatively easy to help you shortlist areas that will meet your needs. I talk to people all the time about the best places to purchase a second home in Sonoma County. So give me a call if you are looking to buy or sell a second home in Sonoma County. If you love this video, you'll definitely enjoy the next one on screen right now. Until the next video, go well.